So, I graduated high school and was totally psyched to move ahead in life. Being extremely young, hyped up with enthusiasm, and with a little bit of hasty, misguided thoughts, I hoped to get a head start and find myself a decent job that would pay the bills. Didn't want to slog another 4 years in university doing something I dreaded the most, studying. It was a fierce debate between my family members and myself. But naturally, I inevitably lost the one-sided argument with my mom on the choice of my major. My sister quickly enrolled me into a privately owned institution on the other end of the country to study architecture, a course which was the opposite subject of the one I had a great growing interest in, computers. Nonetheless, preparing myself for another 5 years of battle and struggle with a mountain of books and course material, I headed to attend my first week of college life. What blew my mind was the unbelievable surprise of me seamlessly understanding and comprehending everything being taught in class. This isn't that bad. It's actually kind of fun. I thought to myself, you know me, how big of a jinx I am? A couple of weeks. That's as much as I was able to enjoy being a nerd. One fine afternoon, we were informed to attend a freshers' party hosted in our honor. Sure, I can take a small break from studies. Gotta experience all aspects of university life, right? I was open to everything that life has to offer. We proceeded to seat ourselves in the middle of the large hall. After a couple of interesting shows of song and dance, the host introduces himself and welcomes the freshman year students to the university. This year, we are going to host a new event called Mr. and Mrs. Fresher, he continued. I am going to call out 5 names of boys and girls each, freshmen who have been nominated by the student council. They will then have to make their way onto the stage and perform 3 rounds for our panel of judges to score them accordingly. He then called out names of 5 girls, one of them, my classmate, onto the stage. This is so cool. I wonder if a guy I know gets nominated. That would be so much fun, I thought to myself. The host later then called out names of 4 boys. I knew 2 of them but didn't want to support them at all. And Adil Abdullah. What? There's another fresher named Adil Abdullah here? I wonder which major he's doing. I know, I'm stupid at times. A few seconds later, I realized I'd have to go join them on stage. Why me? Why can't I study like a normal kid and get my degree? Is that too much to ask for? Some simplicity in life? The second week of my university was nearing its end. Even though I was super excited and driven to learn as much as I could, university isn't only about books and dates. We were informed to attend the Freshers' Day party taking place in the auditorium. A slight deviation, but hey, I can handle what life throws at me, right? We head to the large hall, which was already half filled with students, many of which I hardly recognized. My friends and I found ourselves a nice empty row of seats in between the large hall, and we proceeded to seat ourselves looking forward to a nice afternoon of events and programs that might relax our mood a bit. The show kicked off with the usual song and dance, along with a hearty, warm welcome by the host, a senior student doing his master's degree. I know I looked foolish when I tried to hide myself behind the row of seats, but there was no way I'm getting out of this one. Not when everyone in my class knew my name. I was pushed onto the stage against my will. Okay, boys and girls, please let me explain the rules for this game. Mr. and Mrs. Fresher will consist of 3 rounds by which the nominees will be graded by our esteemed panel of judges, allowing us to declare the couple which has won the Mr. and Mrs. Fresher Award, walking, talking, and doing. In the first round, the nominees will have to walk up and down the center aisle to display their grace and style of walking. They will have to give a brief introduction about themselves and tell us how they came to know about our university in the talking segment. And finally, they will have to perform or put on display any talent they may have, be it singing, dancing, mimicry, or anything of that sort in the final doing segment. The first 2 rounds were easy, simple enough for me to do without breaking a sweat. But the last round, this is where being a PC geek doesn't help you at all. I had to decide to do something so that I can get off stage and run back to my class. Faking how to dance isn't easy. Screwing a light bulb, petting a dog, and hugging a large group of people isn't exactly considered as dancing. I'm gonna lose this big time. Oh, what a big fool I've made of myself. What's done is done. There's no way I can do anything to change the past. It wasn't important anyway. I'm more happier sitting in for lectures and getting good grades on my papers. That's way more interesting. The results were announced, and a guy who could dance really well was crowned Mr. Fresher, while the most popular fresher, the girl who every male student was after, who had a long line of boys waiting to ask her out, and was the master of Indian classical dance, was crowned Mrs. Fresher. All these unimportant events took place in the sidelines without me paying any attention to any details. Who cares, and what's the point? A popularity gimmick which had no gains whatsoever. Neither was I bothered when I noticed the girl who won started to visit our class every day during break. Megha is in the same bus as her, and they are pretty good friends. They might be catching up on something? You know? Girl talk? It didn't seem weird even when she started talking to me, asking me about my life, family, and interests. Maybe she's just being friendly? After all, this is a university. We spoke often, every day, and I answered all of her questions truthfully, having nothing to hide. Since it was a completely new experience for me, and I didn't know what to expect, I adjusted myself to go with the flow and see where it leads me. No warning signals went off in my head. Everything was normal. We are friends, what's the harm in that?